My KLA is Lot, Mandarin Chinese. During my practicum, I observed that when a lesson was structured around linguistic knowledge, such as how to write a character, how to pronounce a word, how to use a grammar pattern in a sentence, and etc., technology was mainly used in the following ways. While every student has a copy of the textbook, the teacher projects the electronic version on the board. Plays the recording like this.
小妹，你在做什么？
我在下棋。
And then asks individual student to translate the sentences into English. What students do is listening to the recording and making notes on their textbooks. Or, after a new grammar pattern or a group of new vocabularies are taught, the teacher projects a list of sentences like this on the board, and then students need to translate them into Chinese or English. We can see that the use of digital technologies is limited. The two schools I went to were both private schools. Every student had their own devices with them in every lesson. One of the schools had interactive whiteboard. Therefore, the limited use of digital technologies is unlikely to be a result of limited resources. Technology simply worked as substitution for physical textbooks or worksheets. Speaking from the SEMA model, the substitution level of technology integration can be as valuable as the redefinition level depending on the learning needs of the task. However, teachers are encouraged to move towards the transformation levels when teaching with technology, because that is where most of the learning takes place. When an activity is on the transformation levels, it usually involves collaborative learning. According to the social constructivist theory, collaborative learning provides opportunities for students to share their different perspectives with each other, negotiate, and come up with a solution to a problem. Through this process, students build on prior knowledge, learn from peers, and develop critical thinking skills. Consequently, they are more likely to achieve deep understanding of knowledge. In addition to collaborative learning and critical thinking, the use of ICT in such ways also doesn't encourage reflection, connectedness, creativity, and differentiated learning, which are the features of contemporary learning. Speaking from Bloom's revised taxonomy, the tasks don't involve higher-order thinking skills as well. When doing such activities, students with low self-regulation tended to be disengaged and exhibit behavior problems, which often interrupted the lesson. This is probably because students' basic needs, including sense of belonging, having some power, having opportunities to make choices, and experiencing fun, were not satisfied. In summary, the issue that I discovered during my practicum is that the use of ICT is limited and doesn't enhance learning in Mandarin classes. So, in this digital story, I'm going to explore a range of technologies that can be used to enhance language teaching and learning. Then, I will discuss a possible solution to this issue. Video is the easiest but one of the best authentic materials available for language teachers. Let's have a look of this clip.
If you want to flee the congestion and get away from the city, coaches like this are a good way to visit key sites.
车
Bus or coach.
这个车去长城吗？
Does this coach go to the Great Wall?
长城
Great Wall.
我买2张票。
I'll buy 2 tickets.
票
Ticket.
往返票。
A return ticket.
你们好，
您好，这个车去长城吗？
是
我买2张票，多少钱一张？
一个人往返50。
A return is 50 yuan.
50。
50.
From this example, we can see that videos allow learners to listen to native speakers and observe how the vocabularies, sentence structures, and expressions are used in daily life. Students are also able to observe the gestures, facial expressions, and other aspects of body language that accompany speech. It is suggested that digital board games is another effective tool that allows students to gain authentic experiences. Take the game Monopoly as an example. Teachers can shape it into classroom activities in which students can practice using expressions that are related to the context of shopping, such as "How much is it? It's too expensive. How much do I owe you?" and so on. Games in classrooms would elicit learners' desires to develop new skills and participate in new roles, which may increase students' motivation and interest in learning the language. During my practicum, I noticed that many Year A students tended to lose interest and motivation in learning Mandarin, partially because they would not continue learning the language in Year 9. Digital board games can be particularly useful in this case. Moreover, empirical research shows that it can also improve retention of information. Nevertheless, digital games are both fun and cognitively demanding. It is possible for learners to be engaged with and enjoy an activity that utilizes digital games without actually meeting the activity's learning goals. Therefore, it is important that teachers apply the following principles when designing and implementing activities with digital games. Number 1. Supplementary materials that help learners focus on the language are provided, including vocabulary lists, grammar notes, and exercises for words and grammar patterns learners would likely encounter during their gameplay. Number 2. Students are given opportunities for reflecting on how well they have met the learning goals through playing the game, and comparing their experience playing the game with that of their peers to obtain a broader perspective of the activity and its goals. Actually, these two principles should be applied in all ICT integrated activities. When ICTs are involved, students are easily distracted, which can significantly hinder achievement of the learning goals. Providing scaffolding and encouraging reflection can ensure that the use of technology contributes to the learning outcomes. According to Tan and Liu, Web 2.0 platforms and tools that are focused on the ability for people to collaborate and share information online are currently the most commonly used multimedia ICT platforms in Chinese classrooms in Singapore. The most popular ones include blogs, Facebook, wikis, podcasts, Twitter, WeChat, and so on. Examples of using Web 2.0 in Chinese language teaching and learning include teachers using blogs to disseminate supplementary reading materials and sample texts and receive feedback and comments from students. Students use blogs and Google Doc to co-produce an essay or the script of a role-play and receive feedback from the teacher. Then, the essay or role-play can be made into a video which can be published on YouTube. Students can then get feedback from a broader community. Students can also use the Chinese social networking applications like WeChat and Weibo to make interactions using Chinese with peers and even people in China in an authentic virtual setting. It can expand students' learning opportunities and exposure to the target language. The use of Web 2.0 tools allows students and teachers to achieve benefits of social interactions regardless of time and distance. Meanwhile, Web 2.0 tools allow the learner's role to evolve from being mere content consumers to content producers and participants. This is aligned with the idea of student-centeredness. Revision plays an important role in language learning. Mind mapping and word cloud applications are handy tools for students to revise prior knowledge and make links between new content and prior knowledge. Students can also share their mind maps and word clouds with peers through Google Doc to get a more comprehensive understanding of the knowledge. Given that learning Chinese as a foreign language did not gain popularity until recent years, limited research has been done on using ICT in Chinese learning context. Most of the technologies discussed just now are studied in ESL context, except the Web 2.0 platforms and tools. Hence, first of all, we need to find out whether these technologies are effective in Chinese learning settings. It is suggested that action research carried out in classrooms by teachers has the potential to increase awareness about teaching and learning and to enhance conditions in both areas. Compared to individual action research, collaborative action research is more suitable for the issue discussed in this digital story. This is because a collaborative research approach reaches out to as wide an audience as possible. It can help direct improvement efforts to the actual needs of a community rather than just to one of its members. Another reason is, similar to students, teachers tend to achieve a deeper level of professional development and understanding when they are actively involved in the learning process through social interaction with the immediate learning environment and are constructing and using their own knowledge. They need to try out ideas and hypotheses and discover their own solutions through collaborative learning. Therefore, to tackle this issue, I need to work collaboratively with colleagues and other teachers from the Chinese Language Teachers Association. The issue raised here would be the focus of our study. The research question would be how effective are videos, digital board games, Web 2.0 platforms and tools, online mind mapping and word cloud tools for enhancing learning outcomes in Chinese learning context. Then, participating teachers need to gather relevant data by employing these technologies in their lessons, observing students' responses in class, and recording it through writing, interviewing or surveying students, and also testing on students' performance. Afterwards, teachers should collaboratively interpret the data with their different personal and professional experiences and levels of knowledge. Then, teachers should reflect on the data both before and after taking action on them. For example, if it is found that digital board games is effective while videos is not, teachers need to ask questions like, why did it work or not work? Is there a different way of doing this? It is important to understand that action research is a spiraling cycle of reflection and action. Finally, it is also very vital that the results of the research are communicated with the wider community. The teachers who were involved in the research can run workshops or give presentations in seminars to share the effective ICT integrated teaching and learning activities. Firstly, it may transform the practices of a larger number of teachers. Secondly, it can validate the study in the eyes of others. In conclusion, this digital story discusses the issue emerged from my practical experiences, which is the use of ICT is limited and doesn't enhance learning in Mandarin classes. Previous research has suggested a range of technologies that are effective to improve learning outcomes, including videos, digital board games, Web 2.0 platforms and tools, and online mind mapping and word cloud tools. To find out whether they are applicable in Chinese teaching settings, I need to conduct collaborative action research with colleagues. Then we should share the findings with a broader community to improve Chinese teaching practices across the country and even the whole world. This is my reference list. Thank you for your attention.